Hello, greetings and salutations. Good evening. How the hell are you? I hope everything's going your way. Today, I am changing the thermostat on that 2005 Nissan Sentra. Or more precisely, I already changed it. Now, I did a few things to it. Sorry if there's some wind noise. I'm outside in Nevada. Or the wind likes to pitch a fit, and then it likes to cry that it pitched a fit, and then it rains. Thus it cries. Anyways, we're not here for a philosophy lesson, unless it turns into one. So, on this 2005 Nissan Sentra, it's got the 1.8 liter engine, and I've already changed the thermostat. But I'm going to show you what I did and tell you about it. Alright, so here's our engine compartment. We got a leak on our corner valve cover. That's not what I'm talking about right now. There's our thermostat housing, this whole thing, but you only need to take that off. Now, right in there, there's 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 1 directly down there. All right? So you take those off, and then you pop that off. And you're going to clean up the surface on this thing, and you're going to clean up that hole in there the thermostat sits in. It has an O-ring gasket right there. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That has been in there probably as long as this car has been alive. So this is what I do whenever I have to clean those up. Usually a wire wheel like this on an impact driver will do the trick. And just be very careful, because this thing's spinning and it'll yank your workpiece. It'll fly off your workpiece and it will hurt you at your discretion, because this thing is dangerous. Wear your safety gear. But enough of that. Be safe, all right? Because this stuff is spinning. It's dangerous. Okay? It'll hurt. It'll make you a Viking. It'll put hair on your chest if it hits you. So you take that off, and you just take your piece and you hold everything real steady. You hit it with some brake cleaner or the surfaces, and za, 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 za. And if you can't control that in the hole inside the groove where the O-ring sits, I got a set of these. And they're real easy. I used a little bit of all of them. But this right here, be very careful. When you're in there, it'll fly off and hit a wire or something, and you'll have to fix a wire. So be very careful. You just stick that in there, and you go around that hole. You might use a smaller one. Yada, yada, yada. And you're just going to go around and around until it's nice and flat and clean. And then I use like grease on O-ring seals. That's a trick right there. And I'm going to tell you today, and this stuff is sticky. You put on some gloves when you use it, unless you want to scrub your hands with bleach or something to melt it off. This stuff called high tack. It comes with a little brush on the end of that cap, about 15 bucks. And you go on the O-ring around and around until you coat the O-ring on it. Try not to get it anywhere else, but get it on the O-ring, and then pop your O-ring inside of there. Not your O-ring, pop your thermostat with the O-ring on the thermostat in there, and then put it on there, and try not to touch your thermostat till you have all your bolts in there, and then tighten them down. Those are 10 millimeters. You don't need the big old half-inch ratchet. You don't need the big old half-inch cannon. You don't even need the impact driver for that. You got a cordless ratchet. Be very careful. Nowadays, they're making those things damn near as strong as a little impact wrench. Yeah, and then tighten it hand tight. I like to get a small ratchet for little bolts like that. When it stops turning, I like to kind of bump it a little bit more without breaking the bolt. You don't have to put Hercules tier strength on them fasteners, okay? They'll tighten up, it'll seal. All right. So what else I did? Now, the first thing you do, you're going to drain your coolant. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. If you look down in there, and I'll try to get in there and show it to you. Let's see. I don't know how well y'all can see. Let me turn the flash on for you guys. All right. Okay. Just have a little peacock at the bottom of your radiator. Now, if that thing's jammed in there and it won't turn, don't break off. Probably a new radiator, you break that off, that little key looking thing. It comes out, don't. So over here with your giant old drain pan, but for coolant, pop that radiator off. If it's hot, be careful. It will burn the piss out of you. There's your warning. Then you let that thing drain into your cat's can. It's empty. Oh. That's how you drain this radiator and cooling system the easy way. And then after that, you do what I just told you about replacing the thermostat itself. Alright? Now, after that, you want to get yourself, after you're done with all of that, you got everything put back together, you want one of these. These come with different fittings. I got this from Harbor Freight, and you want to fill it up. Now, if you see bubbles coming out, it's good. There's still air coming out. So, you want to get the right kit adapter that comes with it, like that, and then you put it on top. It looks really easy. They make vacuum ones and everything. I found this is probably the best way to do it. Those fancy tools are really cool and everything, but this is the best way to bleed a cooling system as far as I'm concerned. I've used the air ones. I've used all kinds of different ones. This right here wins, okay? So, now after you got this going for a minute, you're going to see air bubbles come out. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a pro tip here. I'm going to teach you a pro tip about bleeding a cooling system. You want to keep that bucket at least up to there, okay? You want to keep it at least up to there. And then you want to come over to your vents and, you know, use some common sense. Don't lock yourself in here on a hot day, but put it all the way to the hottest setting. Turn your fan on and have it facing you. And then you're going to feel the air coming out. If you got gloves on, you can still kind of feel it. You can raise your arm up or put your face directly in front of it. Get you some hot air in your eyeballs, your eye sockets. Now, if it's cold and you've been doing this for a few minutes, now don't redline this thing like you had a Japanese race car competition, all right? But you want to rev it up. And you're going to watch your foot level. You see that? This has no tachometer on it. So you got to do it by your ear. You want to rev it up about 2,500. And you want to count about 30. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, and so on and so forth. And then you want to spike it and let off. You let it rev back down. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is in fact burping out more air. Now, you do that a few times until your heater gets hot. You do that a few times until your heater gets hot. Your heater starts getting hot and everything. You can rev it up a few more times. But when this heater is hot, that's a good indicator you're done bleeding it, because that's a good indicator to keep it simple, all right? You got a heater core inside your dash, all right? And the blower motor blows air over it when the heater's on, because the door inside the dash opens. Now the blend door opens up and lets your air blow over that little radiator, your heater core. Or depending if you got it cold, your AC, your evaporator is also, there's like 2 radiators in your dash, probably never even considered there. Little bitty things. But as the air blows over it, it'll get hot when there's no air in there. All right, and see, it's still burping, but I'm going to tell you something. As soon as it gets hot in there, you let it run a few more minutes, and then you can stop, and you drive around for a few days, probably 50, 60 miles, watch your temperature gauge, then check your coolant. If it's full and you got hot air, send it, all right? Because you're done, all right? Now, if you lose heat, you got air in the system. You want to check your fluids, whatever. And when you're done, you want to check leaks. Right now, I got this cap off, so it's not holding pressure. So you can check it for leaks now. There's no leaks. After that, you want to put your cap on it, drive it around about 10, 15 miles, whatever. And then check it for leaks when it's pressurized. Check, make sure you got hot air. If that's the case, you're good to go. So, I'm going to show you what else I did here. Now, my mounts, I'm going to tell you something. Somebody replace this radiator. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because I got a little bit more work to do to it. I'm going to take, I got a new valve cover gasket. I already replaced it. But I need to clean out the thing. So there we go. And we're going to let it cool off and let it cool it. Probably pump a little bit more air out of it, and then we'll seal it back up. But I'm going to tell you something. Somebody replace this radiator once. Alright, and something else, when you're having like overheating problems or whatever, and from time to time it's good to just look at the front of your gills on your condenser and your radiator. Make sure there's not bugs clogging a whole thing of air has passed through those. Or else it won't work. So let me tell you something. Somebody replaced this radiator a while ago. My fan was already giving me trouble. I heard the bearing going out. I replaced that. It's real easy. And then I replaced all 4 of these because guess what? All of them are gone. I'll tell you what, some people working on cars don't know what they're doing. They put the radiator in here and they didn't put the mounts down. That's really stupid. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plug this back up and show you how manly I am. Well, that ain't gonna happen. I'm not a man. I was gonna pinch that thing. If I was on the side of the road and that was stopping me from going home, I'd find some power. I'd find some strength. But that ain't the case, and we got access to the pliers. I have the power. So we're gonna put this thing right here and close that thing up. Because this goes to our reservoir. I'll show you what I'm doing. You don't want to watch me making sex faces anyways while I'm grunting and struggling with this. So we're gonna pinch that. We'll pull her on up. And I try to match it up to the grooves where it was. On there. When I got a clamp on there, I try to make sure that I can feel that lip past that clamp. I don't want it on the lip, I want it past the lip. Now, on these big hoses, usually whenever I do something, I replace them with something that you can tighten. The little nut, the little band, the clamp on it. But those seem to be doing just fine. It's sprinkling, so I might have to call it a day. I got some belts for it too. And I'll replace the fans and all that stuff. But let me show you this. When your belts start looking like this, I don't care what anyone tells you. Alright, you see that shit? These belts are about to split. There's 2 of them on the side. One of them's new. I can tell. It's under replaced. You got the power steering one. I'm going to tell you something. The way this works is you have an idler tensioner. And it's right there. It's the one you can see flatness on it. And there's a bolt down here. Somebody did not know what they were doing. That's your bolt. You're supposed to loosen the bolt in the middle of that tensioner. You're supposed to adjust the tension with this bolt. On your power steering. You've got an adjustment mechanism. I'm going to point at it the best I can. Where my finger is. Let me see. That bolt right there. There's a bolt under the power steering. See that bolt right there? That's our adjuster for the tension on the power steering. On the bottom power steering pump, there's a pivot bolt. You can lose that first, and then you can adjust tension and tighten it back. Because if you don't know about that, you're yanking the piss out of there. Back tighten the stuff you loosen once you got tension right. And you'll know your belt won't be squealing and that belt won't be damn tight, alright? So it's starting to rain, and I'll call it a day. But tomorrow, I'll get on here, and I'm going to take this off on the services. I got iTac. I believe the PCV system is clogged inside the valve cover, and it's below pressure right there. I'm going to clean the alignment valve up too, and I'll get this thing sealed up. If that ain't it, the gasket either wasn't very good, or it rolled when I put it back. I doubt that because you got alignment pat valves. It's not like you're pushing it back and forth. I'm not going to take it off. I think it's just clogged up in there. Nobody maintains cars out here, out west or something, because if I've looked at, it was like years. It's been in dire need of maintenance and work. Like people driving around, they don't change the oil, they don't change the brakes. Like, good job, guys. This ain't gonna get you from point A to point B, right? Close this thing up, and there's it, guys. You get this little handy dandy thing to try to minimize